It was 2 a.m. when the first jab came. I had been half asleep, staring at the ceiling, when her voice cut through the dark like a knife. "Wow, you're really pathetic sometimes, aren't you?" I froze. My heart thudded in my chest, confusion and hurt colliding with disbelief. The words weren't loud, not in a dramatic movie way. They were soft, almost casual, but they carried a weight that knocked the air out of me. I wanted to lash out, to defend myself, to ask why she would say something like that. But instead I stayed calm. There was a strange power in silence. I let her words hang in the room, felt their sting, and then replied evenly, "If that's how you see me, then I guess I need to rethink a few things." She laughed, sharp and mocking, and I realized then that this wasn't just a one-off insult. It was part of a pattern I had been avoiding for months. At first, I questioned myself. Maybe I was imagining tension where there wasn't any. Maybe I had been too sensitive. But small things kept stacking up. Late-night calls she would silence the moment I entered the room. Texts I wasn't supposed to see but caught glimpses of. Excuses that never quite made sense. Even subtle touches. Lingering phone checks. Hidden glances at her screen. Started to feel like signals I'd ignored for too long. I remember the night she went out with her friends. She told me it was just a casual get-together, but when she came home, she smelled faintly a cologne that wasn't mine, and her laughter over the phone seemed too intimate. I caught a flash of her phone, a message that disappeared the second my eyes fell on it. "Nothing," she insisted. "I'm overthinking." But I wasn't overthinking. I just didn't want to see it. That 2 a.m. moment, the mockery, forced the truth into the light. I started noticing everything differently. Memories I cherished, like quiet nights together or inside jokes, suddenly had a ghostly quality, as if she'd been rehearsing parts of her life I thought were genuine. The betrayal wasn't a single act. It was a slow erosion of trust. I confronted her gently the next day, because yelling never produces honesty. I asked about the late-night messages, the hidden texts, the little inconsistencies I had noticed. She tried to laugh it off at first, tried to turn it into a joke. But when I stayed calm, steady, refusing to react with anger, the truth started slipping out. She admitted to things I hadn't dared imagine. Flirtations that went too far, late-night calls she had hidden, moments of temptation she hadn't resisted. Her voice trembled, not in mockery this time, but in guilt. She wanted me to understand, to forgive, but I felt too hollowed out for that. I thought about our life, about the laughter and love, and realized how fragile it all had been. I loved her, but love couldn't rebuild what had been quietly dismantled over months. Anger flared, yes, but it was mingled with a deeper sadness, a grief for the innocence of trust one had lost. And yet, in that moment, I also discovered the power of calm, the calm that allowed me to see her guilt without letting it become my cage, the calm that let me decide what I would accept, not in a rush of emotion, but in measured thought. I told her, softly but firmly, I can't keep living in a house where my worth is mocked at 2 a.m. or any time. I need honesty or I need to leave. Her tears came, genuine this time, but they weren't enough to erase the months of subtle betrayal. I had to choose myself, my dignity, and my peace. Walking away wasn't dramatic. No slammed doors. No shouted words. Just a quiet exit, a reclaiming of my life one step at a time. I felt heartbreak, yes, but also a strange relief. I had been trapped in the subtle games of mockery and deceit, and now I was free. Months later, I still remember that 2 a.m. moment. I remember her voice, the sting of those words. But I also remember my reply, calm, steady, unshaken. That reply saved me, not from her, but from losing myself. I rebuilt my life slowly, carefully, learning to trust my instincts, honor my boundaries, and reclaim my self-respect. The lesson is clear. Love can be cruel, subtle, and destructive, but strength, dignity, and calm resolve endure long after the mockery fades.